In this first video, we'll explore how we can use the text to columns feature to split data into different columns. So over here, we have a perfect use case scenario here. We have some data that looks pretty much off as far as how we see data in Excel, right? So if I just inspect the cell A1 as an example here, I can see all the data is just in a single cell. I think, for that entire row, it's not split into individual columns. So here you can see that the titles are all separated by comma. So let's go and inspect the cell B1 though. So if I click on B1, I do see that the formula bar contains nothing at all. So there's no data in B1. So the same goes for the data below the headers as well. So there's no data in column B. So if you want to confirm that, you can just, click between the columns A and B, and you can inspect the fact that there's nothing in column B and going forward. Okay, perfect. Once that is cleared, let's go and fix this. So the way we can fix this is by using a feature within Excel called as text to columns. So that's available in the data tab in Excel. So you see that text to columns. Perfect. So first, we just need to go and select the data. So in this case is all the values that are there in column A. Perfect. And now I can just go in and click text to columns. So the option that is selected by default is delimited, and that's exactly what we're going to use as well. So as it says here, delimited basically means characters such as commas or tabs that separate each field. So it's not necessarily just limited to commas or tabs. It could be other characters as well. In our case, it's a comma, right? So delimited is what we're going to use. We'll click on next. And then we have the option of selecting the delimiter that we have here. So comma is now selected. So once comma is selected, you can see how the data looks like right now. I can see that there is a separation showing that each of this will be now, converted into a different field. So they'll be shown in a separate column within Excel. So if you had some other delimiter that separates your data, you could choose it. So you have four ready options to choose from. But if there's any other limiter as an exception to these, you could go and provide that here, and it would work perfectly fine. So we are okay with the selection. We keep comma. We also saw a preview of the data. Everything looks good. The next option is optional. I mean, it depends on whether you want to give individual formatting for each of these columns that will be generated. So we don't need to go into it right now, because in the future videos, in the upcoming videos, we'll also see how we can actually implement format cells. So for now, we will keep it as general. We don't need to go in and change anything. So based on the data, it can also identify the data types. So it's fine. So let's proceed with this. Click on finish. There you go. We get exactly what we were looking for. We wanted to split the data. We didn't want the commas between the data. And now it looks perfect. So if I were to click between the intersection of the rows as well as the columns, I can just double click between any two columns here so that the width is set. Perfect, right? So I'm now ready to analyze this data, use this data for any kind of analysis that may be required.